At first, I take the imperative type. We have a sentence on the board. Let's see how to transform this into indirect speech. Here it says, Ram said to Ravi, open the door. You find the full stop here ultimately. And it begins with verb. Full stop and open is the verb. So it is an imperative sentence as I told you. Right? Here the speaker is Ram. And the listener is Ravi. Okay, it is an imperative. As names are given here, they must be friends. So, when one friend is talking to another, you can't think it is an order. He is just asking his friend. I mean, Ram is asking Ravi to do something. So, this said to should be changed into asked. You should write Ram asked Ravi. Then we have to introduce the preposition to here because it is an imperative type, and you just bring down this open and write here to open. So Ram asked Ravi to open the door. Remaining words come down as they are. Full stop. That's all. We remove the quotations. So Ram asked Ravi to open the door. Fine. Imagine if it is don't open. In case if he had said don't open the door, how should be the answer here? Because the instruction here is negative. Then what we should do is when don't is there, we should use not before to. Here we should use not. Now you read it. Ram said to Ravi, don't open the door. Then the answer is Ram asked Ravi not to open the door. So, in imperative sentences, when we transform a direct one into indirect one, here before the verb, we should write the preposition to. If the verb is affirmative, we just write to plus that V1. If it is negative, if it begins with don't or do not, we have to write not before to. So the construction is not to plus the V1 given there. Right. In case, if you find the word please somewhere here in the sentence, it may be at the end of the sentence or beginning like this. Please open the door, or open the door please. Or please don't open the door, or don't open the door please. So whatever it is, rest of the things remain as they are, but only thing is when you have the word please, what happens is this word ask is not used here. Instead the word requested is used because please indicates request. So if you find the word please there, you have to write like this. Ram requested Ravi to open the door or not to open the door. To open or not to open depends whether it is just open here or don't open. Fine. One more thing I want to tell you. Imagine if the speaker and listener are different, they are not friends. If it is a superior authority and this is, the listener is a subordinate. For example, it is the manager and it is the peon. So, manager said to the peon. The manager said to the peon. In that case, the manager is a superior authority and the peon is a subordinate. In that case, instead of writing asked, you may also write ordered or instructed or commanded. All mean the same. So, when the instruction is between a superior authority and a subordinate, we can go for ordered, instructed or commanded. Fine. Even in this case, when you have the word please, if you find the word please, if it is there, you have to go for requested. Even a superior authority can request his subordinate, ask him to do something very politely. It is not wrong. So, if the word please is there, we have to go for requested. If it is not there, see who are talking there. Who is talking to who. If the superior authority is talking to a subordinate, we have to use order or commanded or instructed. If the speaker and listener are of equal rank or friends, you can say ask. In case, if you feel it is something like an advice, you can even write advice. Imagine a mother is telling Ravi. Ravi's mother is talking to Ravi. She says, open the door. Then you can write, Ravi's mother asked him to open the door, or imagine, Ram's mother is talking to Ram. She is telling him, close the door, it is very cold outside. In that case, you can write, Ravi's mother advised him. You can even write advice. If you feel that the expression is an advice, then you can even go for advice. So these are all the possibilities. This is exclusive, depends. You should feel the sentence. You should feel whether it is a command or just asking somebody to do something or an advice. What it is, you should know. You should read it and feel it. You should see who are talking. So based on this, you can make the choice of your reporting verb. This is called reporting verb. What comes in the beginning is called reporting verb. What comes afterwards is called reported verb. So this is about imperative sentences. Let's see a statement now. Here we see the pattern of a statement in direct speech. You find speaker said to some listener. After that a comma and opening quotations. It's a statement because it ends with a full stop and begins with subject. Okay. And at the end of this part you have closing quotations. So subject, verb, full stop. It makes it a statement. Here I illustrate how this is transformed into indirect speech. You write speaker as it is and the said remains said when there is no listener here. This said is written as it is when there is no listener, if the listener is not given in the direct speech. That is why I have put that within brackets. If you find listener, if the listener is given in the sentence, then you should write told. But after the word told, the listener should be written here. The word told should be followed by the listener. If the listener is not given, we have to write only said. This is the difference between said and told. Then these quotations are replaced with the conjunction that. Then the subject is brought down, followed by the verb. But when we write the verb here, when the reporting verb, this I told you, reporting verb, right? If the reporting verb is in past tense, here said is past tense. If it is in past tense, then the verb here, this is the reported verb. The verb here should be changed to past tense, corresponding past tense. That is, imagine if this is in present tense, this should be changed into past tense. If it is in past tense, past simple, this should be changed into past perfect. And if this is in past continuous, this should be changed into past perfect continuous. This is the rule to be followed. If it is in present tense, it should be changed into corresponding past tense. What is corresponding past tense? Imagine, if the reported verb here is in present simple, it should be written in past simple. If it is in present continuous, it should be written in past continuous. If it is in present perfect, it should be written in past perfect. If it is in present perfect continuous, it should be written in past perfect continuous. Whereas, if it is in past simple, it should be written in past perfect. If it is in past continuous, it should be written in past perfect continuous. This change has to be done. First change is here. Second change is this. And this is the third one, important one. This is where most of the students commit mistakes. And followed by a rest of the words there in the sentence. And especially the words referring to the speaker, listener, place and time. I repeat, the words referring to the speaker, listener and place and time. These words will undergo change in the rest part of the sentence. The words referring to the speaker, the listener, the place and the time will undergo change. This you have learned earlier. The things I told you here are applicable to all types of sentences, all the 4 types. So let's see an example for this. You have a sentence here. It's a statement because it ends with a full stop and begins with the subject I. Here the speaker is Kala and the listener is Ram. I have given this within the brackets because we can see 2 types of answers here. Initially, let us imagine that the listener is not given. So let's read it without the listener's particulars. So let us read it without the reference to the listener. Kala said, I don't like to be here now. Kala said, I don't like to be here now. So how to write this in indirect? Here the reporting verb is in past tense and so the answer is Kala said followed by the conjunction that because it is a statement. I don't take this into consideration now. That is why I just used the word said. Followed by that one and number 2 that. After that, the word I. This is said by the speaker Kala, so this refers to her. I told you the words referring to the speaker and the listener will undergo change. So, since this refers to Kala, when we speak about Kala, we should say she. She. Fine. And the next one is don't like. This is in present simple tense form. So I told you present simple tense form should be changed into past simple when the reporting verb is in past tense. So don't like will be changed into didn't like. Didn't like. Note this place. Right. She didn't like to be here. I told you the word referring to a place or time. So here will be changed into there. And similarly now refers to that particular time, that will be changed into then here. So these are the changes here, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Good. Now let's take this listener into consideration. Imagine now the listener is given here and let us read the sentence like that. Kala said to Ram. Kala said to Ram, I don't like to be here now. In that case, the only change in the indirect speech is instead of said, we will be writing Kala after that. Told should be followed by the listener Ram. This is the important difference here. So we must know when we should write said and when we should write told when we are transforming a statement in direct speech into indirect speech. If the listener is there, we have to go for told, and that should be followed by the listener's name or any word that refers to the listener. If the listener is not there, enough, I should not say enough, using only said is right. Using only said is right when the listener is unknown or not mentioned in the question. And in the same sentence, I want to tell you one more thing. The verb was don't like. That was in present simple. So we changed it into past simple, didn't like. Instead, if it had been didn't like in the direct speech itself, I didn't like. To be here now or something. If it had been didn't like instead of don't like, when we transformed it into indirect speech, what should we have done? We should have done, this is in past simple, so it should be changed into past perfect. So the combination for past perfect is had not liked here. So this didn't like should become had not like. This is something that you should keep in mind. So naturally, when we are transforming direct speech into indirect speech, whenever we come across past verbs, past simple or past verbs in direct speech, and especially of B form words, we should be very careful. For example, if we come across was or were in the direct speech, when we change it into indirect, they should become had been, because was or were, these two are in past tense. When they are changed into past perfect form, they should be written as had plus been. You know, it's the combination of had plus PP3 in past perfect. Had is written here, and PP3 of was or were is been. So what we should write is had been when we come across was or were in the sentence that is in direct speech. Now we are moving on to interrogative type. For interrogative type, let me give you the illustration here. So, whenever we find a direct speech like this within quotation, so it's going to be a question. So, we should write the speaker, after that we should write asked, because it is a question. It may be replaced with some other suitable words depending on who is talking to whom. You may use inquired or inquired. Or question, or even interrogative. It depends. If someone is asking the other one something, you can just simply write ask. If it is something like an enquiry or an inquiry, you can write inquired or inquired. Then if it is somebody questioning somebody, you can write question. If it is like a police inquiry or interrogation, you can write interrogated. Something that happens in a court or a police station. So after this should come the speaker's name. Then followed by, if it is a WH question, you can use either WH word there as it is as conjunction. Then it should be followed by the subject. then by the verb. You see this crisscross change here. And when you write the verb, the rule I told you about changing the tense applies here also. As I told you, if it is in present, it should be corresponding past. If it is past simple, it should be past perfect. And if it is past continuous, it should be past perfect continuous. There is no change in it. This should be followed. You see the crisscross change here. This is where students generally commit mistakes when they are changing a question into indirect speech. Then other words are followed, and ultimately this question mark is replaced with a full stop here. This is an important change. We never use quotations in indirect speech. We just drop them in when we change them into indirect speech. And in case it is a yes or no question, you don't find WH words here. If the question is an yes or no question, then you can't use this here. Instead, let me put a bracket here as here. Instead, we will be using the word if. If it is a yes or no type question, we will use the conjunction if. In place of this, we will write if. In case the verb here is negative, I mean if it has the word not, then we will go for whether instead of if. Whether is used for negative. Whether is used for negative expression here. If it is a negative question, we use whether. If not is not there, we use if. When it is a yes or no type question that begins with verb. But before the verb, if you find these words, no problem, you can just use them as they are, as conjunction here. I hope things are clear, and watch the next episode to continue learning. Thank you.